If you can hear me and see me and see me and hear me, it is Sunday night. Let's go. I'm B minor.
And I am the X Factor. If you didn't know, now you know.
If you didn't know, you better ask somebody, because now you know. You are watching B minor and the X Factor. We have an excellent guest tonight. I am stoked. Bella Michaels, all about DePaul. So Pont, you know a little bit about Bella already. If you guys don't know yet, you're about to know more. Pont, go for it. What do you got?
Listen, so I know a little bit about Bella already. She's awesome. She's the best. She's been around the program with us for a long time, so I've been seeing her all the games, all over the place, and she's awesome. So I think our guests are really going to like her, and she's really going to have a lot of good insight for us.
Bella, welcome to B minor and the X Factor.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you so much for the very sweet introduction, Pont. That was too sweet. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
I'm a sweetheart. What can I say?
Yeah, for sure.
He is one of the good ones. I've met a lot of college basketball players from coaching, playing. The X Factor is a real one, for sure.
He definitely is, especially when we get into those AAA meeting rooms, and he lights up the room, knows how to keep us all motivated.
For everybody who's wondering, AAA is Athletic Academic Advising, not to be mistaken with AA. Those are not the meetings that we're in.
I was gonna say I didn't know what the acronym AAA was, but
is it Athletics Academic Advising or Academic Athletics Advising?
Athletic Academic Advising.
There we go. I worked there. I should know, but I forget sometimes.
How long have you even been there, Pat? I just started this last quarter.
So I've been there for 2 years now with the front desk job. Now, it's so cool that it adapted to Zoom now, because I was like, how are we going to do this? It's front desk. But we made it work, and I love it. Ben's a smart guy.
Yeah, and I got a nice little preview also this quarter of his hit single, Mississippi Do.
Ooh, yeah, actually, yeah. So I will confess to all the listeners, Bella did get a sneak peek because we were in the AAA room, and she was a big fan, avid supporter, and every time I would post anything on Instagram, she would swipe up. So I was like, you know what? I have to give her a sneak peek. It's only right. It's only fair. And, she gave me the confidence instilled in me to, boom, put it out there. And now it's a smash hit. Well, it's on the way to becoming a smash hit.
Yes, for sure.
Well, Bella, give us a little bit of tell us your background and how you ended up getting to where you are now.
Yeah, so I basically did not start out in sports. I was not an athlete growing up. I started out singing. I did it for the first 18 years of my life on stage, traveling. Did it in Assyrian. Hans knows what that is because we're ethnic. Our ethnic backgrounds sort of collide. The Greeks, Assyrians, and Armenians went through a genocide in 1914, and they're actually currently going through another genocide in Armenia. So just had to talk about that and spread awareness, because not too many people are paying attention to what's going on in Armenia right now, and it's really, really bad. So did a lot of that stuff. And then once I started college, I said, that's it. I'm going to do sports journalism. Literally woke up one day and was like, I'm going to do sports journalism. So it was very interesting to see from that moment up till now, all the random things that God has blessed me upon my journey from the moment I started at DePaul. It has been such an amazing journey, getting to cover the Blue Demons and then getting to cover All-Star this year. Probably the only good thing that's happened this year, for me at least. But yeah, so it's been a really interesting journey along the way, especially at DePaul, getting to cover the games, like I said, for Radio DePaul Sports, getting to work at the Tribune, at BN Sports in Miami, and then being a guest on Lauren's home show. Just a lot of different things along the way that if you told me I would do, I'd be like, you're joking. That's not going to happen. And it did. So I really, truly feel blessed at the end of the day. But that's a little bit of a background. I definitely love instilling languages, foreign languages, in what I do, because I think that's something very important that we don't see too much in sports emphasized, but it's a very important aspect in the sports world, because you're speaking to foreign athletes. Let's pretend that Pantelis was very, very Greek, that he only spoke Greek and didn't speak English. How would I get an interview with him? I would have to speak his language. And if I spoke that language, he would choose to do the interview with me rather than someone who's going to bring a translator or not really want to know what's going on with him. So I think it's very important for sports reporters and sports journalists to be aware and speak different languages to really connect with the athletes. Because at the end of the day, it's not just, oh, I want to get this information from him. If you're really, someone genuine in the business, then you really want to care and like get those good stories and make a nice feature to get people to understand who this person is, rather than, oh, he's a triple double machine and that's it. Like, no, I want to know what's going on off the court as well. And who,
That's
like,
really cool.
I want to give you kudos because that's the reason why, when you were talking about, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I covered All-Star and I got on Lawrence Holmes show and all this. Like, that's the reason why, because you're going the extra mile with everything. Like, you just raised a really good point. Like, if Giannis had a couple people who wanted to interview him and there was somebody that spoke Greek, he would probably want to, you know what I mean? If Luka Doncic, like, if somebody spoke his language, it would probably be like that. So that's actually a really good point. Those are the things right there. Those are the things right there. The little things.
You're going to laugh at me, Pont, and you too, B minor, for sure. So at All-Star, this is such a Bella thing. Like, the people that knew me when I was prepping, when I found out, I didn't really tell too many people that it was going to happen, because I'm one of those people that likes to stay silent until that thing happens. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about something until it's said and done. And, so anyways, as I'm prepping for All-Star, I'm like, okay, Giannis is going to be there. Luka is going to be there. All these people that, I speak Spanish. So if anything, I could go the Spanish route with Luka, being at Madrid, his background in Spain. So he speaks the same dialect that I speak. I speak Castellano, which is, in Spanish, there's a million different dialects, whether it's Latin American, even in one country. Like if you go to Colombia, there's going to be like different dialects within the country. So anyways, to make a long story short, there was a Nigerian girl, actually like straight up from Nigeria, in one of my classes at DePaul, one of my night classes. And she turned out to be from the same tribe that Giannis is from. And I said, well, his parents, not him. He's Greek, born in Greece, I asked her, I was like, can you please teach me a couple of words so that I could, if I end up speaking to Giannis, I could pull up with some words, just because it's fun and I love it. So she taught me some, and I was sitting there learning Nigerian words, like genuinely, because I wanted to do it. And people would probably be like, this girl is psycho. Like, she's literally crazy. And maybe I am. Like, I will totally say I am. But it's, with Luka, I wanted to learn Slovenian. And the problem was, I said, okay, let's say I pull up with a Slovenian sentence and then he answers me in Slovenian. There's nothing I could do. So I wasn't going to fake it, because if he answered me back, I'd just look at him and smile. So I went the English route when I spoke to Luka that night. I made sure to, just keep it real and not pretend. But as far as the other languages I speak, I will make sure to implement those with any of the, the foreign athletes. But that's what happened with Giannis when you brought him up.
So Spanish and what else?
Assyrian, English, Italian, Polish. I know a bunch of words just because my best friend is Polish and I'll understand. And French I'm working on as well, and Dutch, but those are very rough, those two. So
I barely speak English, so much respect to you. That, and my accent when I try to speak Espanol, no bueno.
Yeah, that sounds good though. That was very bueno.
At least you try. Some people wouldn't even go out there and try. So at least you put yourself out there.
Sí.
Yeah.
Muy bien.
Yeah.
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Sí.
El baño. Cerveza.
Good job. Et tu would be Italian. So first time you said it, you even spoke Italian, so you could add that on your list too.
Your resume, or your resume is growing. I just made up a word. Did you hear that? Impressime. That's an impressive resume. Impressime. That's not bad. I gotta call up Webster.
Impressime. I'm trying to bring an impressime.
Next interview, come with an impressime. They're gonna hire you, I promise.
Who was the best or most enjoyable player that you got to interview outside of the X Factor?
Okay, outside of the X Factor. Real quick, before I answer that, it was funny. One day, Pont, it's a story about Pont. He was sitting, so when I'm at the DePaul games, I have my big camera. Like I'm 5'3", barely. I like to round up just to make me seem a little taller. Holding this camera, I'm sitting on the floor, and the guys are stretching literally like right in front of me. There's a couple inches between me and the guys. So Pont is like a little bit to my left or my right. And I don't, like, at that point, we hadn't really spoken much. I just knew him from seeing him at games, and I don't even know. So he's sitting there and he's doing his stretch, and I just go, Pontalise, can you look over at the camera real quick? And he just turns over. He's like, yeah, you said my name right. And I was like, yeah. And then quickly took a picture of him and posted like, all smiles for game day. And then they lost. So he messaged me after saying this photo would have aged better if we actually got the dub. So funny little story of, Pont. But to answer your question, my favorite, that's hard. I have a couple favorites I will mention. For current players, it was so exciting because, I'm talking to guys that are my age. I was, it's not often that a student gets to cover All-Star. So I'm there and these guys are my exact same age, like people like Ja and Luca. And so Luca comes in and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I don't hide it. If I love a player, I love a player. Like Luca's an amazing player. When he's playing on the court, no one's going to lie. Whether you like the Mavs or not, you love his game. So he comes up and I'm like, this is amazing. And I asked him in the morning, I didn't speak with him. At night, post game, I asked him, he was with Obama earlier in the day. So I asked him what it was like when he saw President Obama. My favorite person that I spoke with was probably Ja or Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley gave me a hard time in the room. That comes with a whole other story with him. But Ja Morant was really nice. He kept, we had a bunch of back and forth. So he was probably my favorite to speak with, or Zion.
Charles Barkley is hilarious. You can just tell. I mean, I've never interacted with the guy, but you can just tell from watching everything, all the analyst shows and everything. That guy is hilarious.
Do you want to hear the story?
We got time.
We have to hear the story
now. So shout out to, first off, All-Star happened because of my amazing friend and role model, Ben Golliver. He is the Washington Post's NBA reporter. He's the national reporter, and he has a book coming out called Bubble Ball about his experience and journey covering the NBA playoffs in the bubble. So that's coming out, everyone, if you're watching this, make sure you pre-order his book. But he helped me because he gave me the info where to apply, what to do, for credentials to get to go to All-Star and cover it. So once I applied and made it and got everything, that one of those nights, Charles and the whole TNT crew were, going to the House of Blues to do like these interviews. And in there, literally, there were only 5 other reporters that night that quickly got to interview him, and then me, this like 21-year-old, whatever. Was I 21 or 22? I was 21. So I'm in there, and it's 5 other men, like older men, and then me. So I'm like, okay, like what's gonna happen? I've never interviewed someone besides like, DePaul players or college players. So this was really cool. So I get in and Chuck walks in and I'm like, great. So he looks over and he comes up and introduces himself to me because I had 2 other guys and one of them he knew. So as he's speaking to them, and then he looks over and he's like, hi, and I'm like, hi, and he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Bella. As I'm speaking to him, I ask him like, oh, what do you think of Zach LaVine? Not whatever. And he went off on me for talking about Zach LaVine deserving to be like an all-star and all this stuff. And he's just like, I asked him about Boylan. He's like, he's my friend. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm like, all right, like it's all cool. So while we're doing the interview, whatever, I spoke to him for a little while, and then, it's time to go. Shaq is across the room. He was dealing with Kobe. He was dealing with his sister. So it was a rough time for Shaq. He had his shades on. He wasn't in the mood. So he's out in the corner. As I'm walking out to go grab my jacket and leave, and Ben's, with me because like he's the one who does this every year. He knows where to go, what to do. So I was just following, shadowing. And as I'm going to grab my jacket, I just hear, hey, you. And I just turn around because anyone that hears someone shout, hey, you across the room is just going to turn. And it was Charles Barkley staring at me. And I go, me? He's like, yeah, you. What's your name? And I go, Bella. And he goes, Shaq, Bella been telling me about Zach LaVine. Can you believe her? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like joking around. And Shaq did not care what was going on. He was not having the conversation. So Charles was just like going on about me saying like, Bella said this. And I'm like, here we go. So I just laughed and then grabbed my jacket, put it on and left the room. And I'm like, Ben, oh my gosh, Charles Barkley just called me across the room. And it was just this thing that like a rookie reporter would react to. And that was how I was feeling. that was the story. That's probably the funniest story of All-Star Weekend.
Rookie, you had your rookie campaign, but now you got that experience under your belt. You got ribbed a little bit by Charles Barkley. So now you're going to feel more comfortable and, talk to us a little bit about the preparation. How do you prepare for something like that? Obviously, you tried to learn Polish or Slovakian but for real, how do you prepare for something like interviewing Ja Morant or Zion Williamson?
If you want me to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh my gosh, I went through days and days of preparation. I didn't. To be honest with you, I think like the preparation is the classwork at DePaul and like the experience that you have before. Just, if I interview Pont and then I interview Charles Barkley, my interview's not going to be any different just because you get what I mean? Like, I'm not
because we're essentially on the same level.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, yeah.
That's what she's getting at.
Just a couple average guys.
But like, Pont, to me, you are. Because what tells me, how do I know going into an interview that you're not going to have something so interesting to say that no one else, you know what I'm saying? Like something about you that's so different. So really, like, you can't prepare for something like that. You have to just naturally have that like excitement and curiosity to want to know about the person you're talking to. And also, like I just said, the person you're talking to. So don't treat it like an interview, just talk. Charles and I, like, he called me bro, and then he said dude, and then he goes sis or something like that. I forgot what he said. So like, you're talking. So to me, I didn't prepare. I took what I knew. I love the NBA. I love these players. And Ja was the first one I spoke to out of all of them because it was early in the morning. I had just gotten to Wintrust, and Luka came up first. I didn't speak with him, mainly because I didn't know what to ask at that point. I had just started, first day. And then Ja comes up and I'm like, all right, it's cool. I was right in front of him. We're face to face. And we just talked. So I didn't really prepare. DePaul did the preparation for me, if that makes sense.
You prepare before you get to the moment. That's what I'm getting out of that. You didn't wait until the week, but the day, the hours before. You'd been preparing for that moment
right
for the last how many ever years. And that's something Pont and I do talk about a lot is you don't wait to work. You work while you wait, because those that wait will get worked by those that were working while the waiting were waiting. So don't wait to work while you wait, if you follow.
That is amazing. 100%. 100% true.
That's a lot of working and waiting and waiting and working, though. I will say that.
That's
a lot of work.
You got to wait while you work. You got to work while you wait.
Well, it's true because this field, like, it's so tough. That's why when I said in the beginning, if you told me I'd do this, I'd be like, you're joking. Because, like, there's so many people that want to do it. And think about it. When acting and, like, any entertainment field is very tough to get into, right? But look at how many roles there are that you could go play. But when it comes to, like, being a sports reporter for, let's say, ESPN, there's only one sideline reporter, really, that's, like, the main person or, like, the main anchor at ESPN. Like, there can't be 10 Rachel Nichols at one time. Rachel Nichols has her time and then another person takes over. And I love Rachel Nichols. So people like that, like in this field, it's very tough because the job outlook is it's not as, I don't know how to explain it. It's not as easy as other jobs. So it's tough. You really have to grind. If you're not going to grind, someone else will. Like, it's not really all about what you know, because I guarantee you there's a million other people that know way more about a certain sport than I do, but it's about how hard you work, and how much you know about your craft, which is like sports journalism, or like how to interview or how to tell a story in a way that others can't. And then it's fitting your personality into it. And I just think working hard is more important than saying, than putting yourself down and saying, oh, this person's going to be smarter. There's always going to be someone smarter than you in this world, but you can work harder. You get what I mean? You can outwork people.
I get it. Pont.
I get it.
I think we both get it. And I think that you don't, I totally understand what you're saying. So I don't think I need to elaborate or try to rephrase it or anything, because you said it so much more eloquently. But I'm going to try, because that's the type of guy I am. There's so few openings for sports broadcasting. And even probably there's fewer females in that industry. So you are breaking barriers. I love that you're 22 years old and you've already got the experience of interviewing a Zion, a Ja, Chuck. That's just incredible. And outworking them is what it's going to take. And I think you said there's people that know more, but it's not just what you know, and it's not just who you know. People will say, oh, it's who you know. I don't believe that, because if you knew a lot of people but you don't know crap,
Exactly.
right? You can know a lot of people, and it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Exactly. Exactly. Because like you said, like if I know someone, let's say for example, like I said, Ben Golliver told me who to contact. So I didn't even go contact me. I contacted myself. He just gave me a tip, contact these people, apply here, right? If I did that and I didn't work hard or like I didn't do something right, then that looks bad on the people I know who are referring me, right? And then where am I going to go? I'm not going to get anywhere, because then people are going to be like, all right, that person's not what we want, that person's not working hard, or that person's not reliable. So it really takes a lot of different traits to get to where you want to be. And I truly think everyone can get to where they want to be as long as they put in the work and the dedication. And you just need to have that motivation constantly, because no one's perfect. Like we all have down moments. Like we have our moments where we just think like, okay, this, I'm done, I'm tired, I'm whatever. And we just get down on ourselves. But you have to remember that there are also days like where you need to just pick yourself up and be like, that's it. Like if I'm not going to do this, someone else will. It just matters how important your craft is to you. And that's why I think everyone should really follow through with what they enjoy doing, because especially I feel like sports journalism, like it's 24/7. Like there were so many nights as a college girl, I could have been out partying. I didn't. I was literally working until I went to Miami, and then I partied a little, because I had to. You're in Miami. It's first time I moved away, first time living alone, paying rent, paying for all this different stuff, and my first big girl job. So, you live a little. But when I was at DePaul, it's just classes, work, commuting, carrying camera with me all day that now I'm going to PT for because I have tendonitis all over. Like it's crazy. Like people tell me you need to calm down, but I take it seriously because I love it. Like if I didn't, there's no way in hell I'd be going on the L every day with all this expensive, heavy equipment, like lugging around, looking like a little Oompa Loompa. Like, no, so it's just crazy. But it's fun. And I would never choose to do anything else.
I think it's so powerful that you say that, because it's been a recurring theme on B Minor and the X Factor. Like, Brent, think about how many people, like entrepreneurs, millionaires, pro athletes that have come on, and oftentimes we ask them like, so what's the secret? What's the secret sauce? What's this or that? How did this happen? Hey man, I just worked. Like such a common fact. Like so Jesse, even, not too long ago, he literally said like, hey, I'm not even that smart. Like this guy has like multiple like businesses that have done unbelievably well, exponentially well. He's like, I'm not even that smart, man. Like I just work. You know what I mean? Like I just go out there, work, get the job done, and here we are. You know what I mean? The results pay off. There's so many people that they're not willing to do it, which is crazy. Like God put you on this earth to like, live out your worth, and like he gave you a gift, and now you're just not going to use it. You're not going to work. Like it's unreal.
Exactly. And like for me, like I'm a nerd. Like I'm book, like I love my books. I'm proud of it. I love reading. I love school. I stress it so much. So for something like that, like that's another reason why I took everything seriously, because like for me, it wasn't just homework. Every assignment I took so seriously. Like I love it. So I don't know. It's also like the school part of it. And because journalism, like at DePaul, all our classes, our school stuff, it wasn't just reading through a textbook though. It was like our professors are people like Adam Rittenberg from ESPN and Fred Mitchell, who's so accomplished, and like it's just crazy to have all these different people in our connection at DePaul, and that's why I'm really thankful. So I'm giving DePaul a nice little shout out. But had to plug it in there. But yeah, it's working hard, and like it isn't like you said, everything that because for me, like I'm book smart, and I love all that, and I love languages, and I love sports, and I can tell you everything about a player and their background, but I can't break down every play as eloquently as your typical play-by-play on TV or as an athlete, because I didn't play the sport. I don't hear what the coach tells you in the locker room or like how, these plays go or drills. Those are things that I have to tighten up more, and that's something you get usually by playing. So that's something that the more you watch and the more you hear players talk about it, when you sit down and have those conversations, you pick up. So that's what I mean about my knowledge. Whereas if I sit and talk to someone who's like a starting player on a team, he's going to know more than me about how his team plays and what their conversations are like in the locker room than me sitting there and pretending like I'm going to say this and that. Like, that's another thing I don't like. Like, don't put on a front. If you don't know, say you don't know, and you can work on it and learn. You're not going to look bad. You're going to look even better if you could just say, I don't know, but let me learn. Let me look into it. That's something that I think is really important. But yeah, I'm rambling now.
Don't worry. You're talking to B minor. I ramble all the time. I've been on recruiting calls and I'm talking. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I got to slow down. I get excited when I start talking. Sometimes I start talking really fast and I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I'm still talking, but I can't really just stop. But I do at times just stop. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I get excited. I get excited when I talk about Pacific University. I get excited when I talk about our style of play, how great our university is. But let's talk about you. So that's sometimes I have to pull myself back because I do start rambling. So don't worry, that's all good information. I think what you're saying is so true about just finding your passion. And then it doesn't seem like you're having to work as hard you're working hard, but if it's stuff you enjoy, and if you're learning and growing in areas that you enjoy, it's a whole lot easier to be successful.
I definitely learned and grew when I did play-by-play and analysis for our radio for a men's basketball game. That was too interesting.
Radio is so hard. Radio is so hard.
Yes. Like I'm sitting there and you just, the funniest thing, I was I was doing a game. If you just hear me, like, for example, let's say like whatever is on a drive and Romeo Weems like dunks or whatever, I'm like, yes, Romeo dunks. Like you'll hear me say that on live like radio at DePaul. So I had like my own personality with it. And my main thing, like I said, I would focus on players. So let's say, players on the other team, like the away team, or if I spoke about DePaul, like I would talk about where they're from, what they do. So like random facts about them more than like breaking down a play and doing all that. Cause that's something, I think like, for me, like I said, for someone who's not a player, I'm not going to explain it as well as someone who has, if I'm color analyst, but I tried my best. It was really challenging because I'm used to like seeing it and hearing someone else do it. And then I'll just cover and do the post game stuff or do a feature. So sitting there and being the person who does it, you're like, oh my gosh. And then I would do it like so many games, one after the other. And slowly you get the hang of it, but it's not something that I want to do. I'm not the best at it whatsoever.
It's very difficult. TV, if I start talking too much, I'm just like, okay, I'll just stop and let them watch, right? But when it's radio, you got to be quick, you got to be insightful, it's got to be quick.
You got to paint it. And like I remember I was doing radio for when Ponce scored his first point. It was amazing.
Woo woo. Funny. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was big time, man. 1 point.
Uno.
More. That's un points more than LeBron and Kobe, obviously, but so many other people don't ever get the chance to even sit on the bench, and they're talking crap. I see it on TikTok, and this guy, how many times have I seen this free throw? Probably going to see it again.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I appreciate that, and I'm going to have this video for the rest of my life. So when my kids ask, I might even tell them I started. I can say anything at that point.
Great. That is amazing. I love it. Oh my God.
I'm going to have the video to show them.
My dad and my friend's dad were in the audience. My friend who's one of the dancers on our DePaul dance team. It was so funny because they're just like, oh my gosh. And I see my dad after the game, he showed me the video that he took of you and like his friend that they all took videos because they're like, everyone here is going crazy. Like the arena erupted completely. Like you just see everyone going crazy. It was like a good moment to be covering a game. I was like, yes, this was a good one to be doing radio for.
One of the absolute best moments of my life.
I saw one of Ponce's first ever games. I'll throw that out there. Had you even, that was like preseason.
What
year?
year?
PK 80. Yeah, that was my freshman year. And I don't think we played too many games before that.
What year
maybe
was it though?
2017.
or 17,
2017.
That's when
not
I
in 1997.
I was gonna say you say 97. I wasn't even born.
was like, I wasn't born either.
One of those sevens. 2017 though, right?
2017. Yep.
When I got there, I think. No. Did I get to DePaul in 2017 or 2018? I went to community college first for a year because I graduated high school early and wanted to get my gen eds out of the way, and I was, doing all that. So I couldn't decide exactly for sure if I was going to go with sports journalism. So I was like, for now, let me go and spend way less money at a community college, get my gen eds out of the way, and then go to DePaul and, really do it. And once I got to DePaul, I went straight, like didn't look back, just tunnel vision to my goals.
You're better for it, and so is DePaul, honestly. We appreciate what you did for us. You did awesome reporting and coverage of everything.
Thank you so much. I mean, there were times though that the basketball PR really stopped me from doing more stories that I wanted to do. So I was mad, but it's okay.
So are you currently working as a sports journalist, or are you freelancing, or what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I'm doing I started also the combined program at DePaul. So I was doing my master's while I was doing my bachelor's, basically. So my last year of my bachelor's, I started my grad classes, and in this past spring, I got my bachelor's, and I've been doing grad classes since. So doing that, I'm the grad assistant for our journalism department and for the broadcast side. And then I took that job that Pont and I were talking about earlier with AAA, so Athletic Academic Advising, as like a student tutor. So just focusing on that now until I finish my grad, and then I'm going to fully apply for jobs. As of now, everything I had done was freelance stuff or internships, just because I was still a student. So I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to apply and see what I end up with. I still, I was doing Good Day DePaul. I was doing reporting, covering men's basketball, but as of right now, you see there's no season. I was doing features, so I did one on CMO, on Charlie Moore.
That was great, by the way. Anybody who has not seen that should see that, because that was awesome.
That was the first basketball feature I did. Thank you so much. It was like a little news feature, so I really enjoyed doing it. And he has such a deep, nice story, and he's a good guy, so it was nice to do that on him. So, yeah.
I did like your interview with Paul Reed when we talked about this before. When you asked him about something fun about him, or does he speak any languages or something, and he said, "I speak Spanish."
I said, what's something most people, it's my favorite question to ask people. I said, what's something most people don't know about you? Because I get the craziest answers. Devin Gage told me, he goes, most people think I'm mean. I don't know why. I was like, okay.
Thanks. Fun.
Yeah. And then Paul was like, oh, I could speak Spanish. I'm like, oh, really? Speak some. And he goes, ¿Cómo estás? And I'm like, oh, great. And I just died of laughter because it was just a very Paul thing. It was great. It was funny. But yeah. Pont and B minor, real quick. I'll ask you guys, what is something most people don't know about you? Just out of curiosity.
I speak Greek. ¿Cómo estás?
Fluently though? I thought you did.
Yeah, I actually went to Greek school. So fun fact. So my grandma lived with us until she unfortunately passed away, but she only spoke Greek. So the only way that I could communicate with my grandma was to speak Greek. Also just growing up in a Greek household, my dad would speak it so that I could learn. And then up until 6th grade, which is when I graduated, and they're basically like, okay, you're good. You don't have to go to Greek school anymore. I went to Greek school after went 3 times a week after school, and it was like a 45-minute drive there, and then 45 back too. So it was tedious, but I was very passionate about it because it's my culture, so I do speak Greek. So
I've been trying to learn Greek forever, so now I'm gonna make you teach me. You have no choice. But I know Evgaristo.
Oh, hey, parakalo.
Yeah, and oki, which is no, right?
Yeah, you're on the right track already. That's way more than most people know. I guarantee it.
Okay, thank you.
Way more than me.
Yeah, so you're gonna teach me, Pont. But B minor, what's something most people don't know about you?
Most people don't know that my grandmother scored over 100 points in a basketball game.
Wow, Grandma Buckets.
Grandma McBuckets. I just had, Pont was talking about his grandmother, and I was trying to think of what people don't know about me, because I do talk a lot and I do have 40 some episodes of the B Minor and the X Factor show down. So more people will know that soon, because she passed away when I was 1 year old, my dad's mom. But my dad's mom, 1930s in Oregon, was a celebrity. She averaged 50 a game as a sophomore in women's basketball. And this is back before like women were really even allowed to do many sports. But she grew up where she had a gym upstairs in her house. So she learned how to shoot, and she shot with an overhand spin like this, and got to where, like, when my dad was in high school, he said he'd finish up practice and his friends would be like, hey, can your mom come in and shoot? And she could stand up at the top of the key and make sometimes like 25 in a row. Just forward spin, nothing but nets. There's an awesome article. I just shared it, I think, with Will, The Thrill, but it talks about, there's a quote in the Eugene Registered Guard. It says, Gladys Minnie sinks baskets faster than most girls can burn biscuits. And I was like, I don't think they could get away with saying that anymore. But in the 1930s in rural Oregon, pretty funny line out of the newspaper.
I would have loved to like have done a feature on her. That is amazing. Please send
Really cool. I'll send you that article, Bella. It's a really cool article.
Yeah.
It says that her scoring totals read like a winter forecast in Oregon: 32, 35, 40, 45, and sometimes reached spring levels like the 65 she dropped on Santa Clara, or reportedly scored 104 against Coburg. Ripley's Believe It or Not picked it up and spread the story of the sweet shooting. So that was my dad's mom. So that's something that not many people know about me, but I'm on a mission to make sure more people know about this woman who was way ahead of her time. She even switched over and played on the boys team until the directors and other teams' coaches raised such a commotion that women can't play, the girls can't play with the boys. And it was the other team's coaches that were saying that because she was lighting them up.
Wow.
And so they banned her, and she only played 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. And then the OSAA came in and said you can only play 4 years, because they were trying to tighten up all the rules and have like one governing body. So she didn't even play her junior or senior year of high school. And her sophomore year, she averaged a 50 piece. No joke. I got a lot of articles and newspapers that will back up that story. So not a lot of people know, but like I said, more people will know, because if you didn't know, Gladys Minnie married Tom Miner, who is my grandfather. Now you know.
That's amazing. Send me that article, please. Yeah.
I will, for sure. I'm proud of it. I'm a proud Miner. Definitely. That's pretty cool for me. So let's go to the quotes, because we were having a little chit chat before we hopped on the red dot blinking recording. So Pont, take it away. Give us something good here.
Let's do it. I will start us off. So this is what I found, right? And I was scrolling through a bunch of quotes, and I had a lot that I was thinking about today, but this is mine for today because it really spoke to me. Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Wow. Because when you're passionate about something, this is what really got me thinking. So when you're passionate about something, it literally feels like your soul is on fire for it. And like, you can't fake passion. Like, there's things that, certain things is like, okay, like I like this is cool. And then there's like, oh, I'm really passionate about this. Like, I want to like do this or pursue this for the rest of my life. So whatever that is in your life, like pinpoint that. Hopefully it's something productive. Hopefully, and in many cases it is usually when you find a passion for something, because it's usually something that's not too easily achievable, for me at least. Like, I'm passionate for accomplishing goals that like not many have accomplished, or something that's going to take a lot of time and it's going to feel really good when it happens. You know what I mean? So whatever that is, pursue it, because it's going to pay off in the long run. But it's going to, at times when you're putting in all the work, you're going to be so burnt out. Hey, is this worth it? And the answer is yes. So keep on pushing.
I love it.
Bella, do you want to give us one, or do you want me to go? The choice is yours.
Whatever you prefer.
I think we let you go after me, because they say age before beauty.
Nice.
So I'm the old one in the group. So this is one, I put it up on my Instagram today, Max Hoops 3. If you don't follow, follow. Losers assemble in small groups and complain about the coaches and other players. Winners assemble as a team and find ways to win. So I'll say that one again because
That's
I
tough.
love it. It's so true. Losers assemble in small groups and complain about the coaches and other players. Winners assemble as a team and find ways to win.
I love that.
Mic drop. There you go.
I can't follow up with.
No, you can follow that up and you can go even further. And that's why I wanted to go first, because I didn't want yours to leave me like totally out there. So this is kind of I know we're kind of just throwing it at you, but what type of wisdom or knowledge could you impart? It doesn't have to, that wasn't my quote, so it doesn't have to be a Bella original.
Okay. Like I said, I didn't prepare for this. So I like All I Know Is Put It Up and Keep On Working by Lil Baby. No, I'm joking.
I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
That would be a very unique type of quote because, like I said earlier, hard work. That's what it's all about. So all I know is put it up and keep on working. Woo. Anyways, I'm joking.
No.
Or anything from Mississippi do, but no, for real, I'll probably like Let Go and Let God. Or I like the Philippians that you spoke about earlier. Definitely, there are so many quotes, and I literally, if I'm talking or someone talks, I hear song lyrics. So anything anyone says, I instantly start singing a song that says a word like that. So I think through song lyrics. So if I had a little more time to like think about it before this, I would have probably picked a song lyric. So I'll stick with the Lil Baby one.
I like what you got going on with Lil Baby.
Thank you.
Lil Baby's good, and we wanted to throw it at you because we know that you work best under pressure.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
I mean, that's kind of what you gave us that information about. You, I know you said, well, I didn't even prepare for the for the NBA All-Star game. I just showed up and delivered. So I was like, well, let's just throw a quote at her and see how she handles it.
Do you know
And became Charles Barkley's favorite.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, my gosh. I can't even imagine if I quoted Lil Baby to Charles Barkley, what he'd do to me. Like, he would just go off.
You know what, though? It would be unique. It would be something that he remember. He'd go home like, wow, that girl really quoted Lil Baby today.
That's
Do
my
you think he know? I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about Little Baby. Is it Little or is it Lil?
Lil.
Lil.
Like Lil Pine.
Lil.
Got
it.
But yeah,
Lil.
Yeah. Lil Baby and Lil Durk are like my top artists, definitely right now.
I'm gonna write that
Durkio,
down.
but he's Chicago's Jay-Z. Everybody remember that.
Durkio is the best artist to come out of Chicago, like rap artists come out of Chicago. That's my hot take.
That is a hot take. I'm a big fan though, so I won't even rebuttal you too much on that.
Give us one more. I didn't hear it. Give it to me again.
Lil Durk is the best rapper to come out of Chicago. All these fans are gonna come at me and like all these like Chance the Rapper fan. Like, I don't care. I'm saying it.
There's two people that came to my mind that people would definitely argue, and now I have three because Chance. I was definitely thinking Kanye, and you could also argue Chief Keef because of the influence that he's had.
My brother would go with Chief Keef. That's who he chooses, which like irritates me, but it's okay. It's fine.
I prefer Lil Durk though, honestly. Lil Durk, he's got that stuff, honestly.
And he reactivated his Instagram account right before this interview, so we're back.
I know what you're doing after this.
No, he just posted like a picture. It's just sad after what happened with like King Von, so he just deactivated his stuff. But yeah, all this stuff that B minor is like, all right, I don't know what's going on, so we can skip the
Chicago stuff.
I usually have got older guests sometimes when we're talking about like movies, and Ponce doesn't have a lot of the early 2000 movies nailed.
No, I'm a big film person. I was actually, the other field I was thinking of going into was like cinematography type stuff. So like film and maybe like even journalism, but with film.
Have you seen Field of Dreams?
No, I just
Have you seen Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
Okay, you have seen Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good sports business. Show me the money. Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr.
This is a hot take. I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise. That is a big hot take.
No, I don't. There's a lot of people who aren't fans because he's got that whole like Scientology thing. That's kind of weird.
He's like, I think he's overrated. He's not my cup. The people that I will never get tired of watching, because I'm a big comedy person. I mean, The Godfather is like my top favorite, but all that aside, because I like crime stuff right now, also putting film on the side, the people that have been speaking to me in the last 2 weeks know that I have been like compulsively binge watching Power. Great show. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it.
Netflix?
No, it's on Hulu, like Stars. So
Hulu.
yeah, so Stars Hulu. But I with films, comedies, I'm a big Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen. Those are my boys. Anything they're in, that's like, I've watched a million trillion times.
Super bad.
Yes, that is the like can't go. I will watch that a million times. If you tell me right now, like, hey Bella, we're having a super bad night, like I will be the first person in attendance, and I will bring all the snacks.
That movie is so funny.
Yeah.
So I actually watched that in college. I hadn't seen it before college. That movie is too funny.
What?
I'm terrible with movies. Like
when I watched it, because I watched movies at an age that I shouldn't have been watching them, but I watched them, so I won't even.
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh yeah, Wedding Crashers.
Is funny.
That's a funny movie.
Old School is very similar type humor to Wedding Crashers, but Old School is hilarious. Ponce said he hadn't seen it. These old guys set up a frat right near campus, and it has nothing to do with helping the school. It's just these old dudes who start a frat, and it's hilarious. Old School.
Wolf of Wall Street is also one of my favorite. War Dogs is really good. I love Miles Teller.
War Dogs is fire.
Yes.
So, Wolf of Wall Street's good too.
Probably my favorite movie, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, that's definitely in my top after The Godfather as well. DiCaprio is just a phenomenal actor for sure.
He's a beast.
Yeah. Titanic?
And Scorsese.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I bawl though, so I can't watch that unless I'm in the mood to cry. So.
It's a good one. Well, that was awesome. We really appreciate you joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the X Factor for last week when we were supposed to hop on. And
film sesh went a little bit late. Sorry about that, guys. But we were able to come back and get this filmed. And Bella was awesome. B Miner's awesome as always. We appreciate everybody that tunes in too, because you guys are awesome. You guys make this happen, who we do it for. So we appreciate you.
It's been real.
It's been fun.
It's been real fun. Let's go. And if you're going to walk
on.
Let's go. That's like a wrap. We're going to cut that. Stop.